Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back again to SRC 501. And today we're going to talk about the fundamental of public speaking. Now, I believe that everybody has done this before. Everybody has done a presentation before. So this chapter will be very helpful for you in order to become a good public speaker, and it also will help you in order for you to help others in become a good public speaker. Alright, so before we begin, I hope that everyone are in a good shape. Okay, so let's begin. So public speaking. What is public speaking actually? So public speaking is actually where you are making speeches in the public. For example, that you are running for MPPs. So you're trying to convincing people, and you're trying to inform people something. So creating or process of making the speeches in front of a public is called public speaking. So according to online dictionary, it is an art of effective oral communication with an audience. Why? Because through public speaking, we are actually trying to persuade people to understand, try to inform people so that they will know what they need to do. So public speaking is something that is very important because you need to have a solid information. Okay, so each speech will be beginning by yourself, and it will affect your audience, as I said earlier, either in persuading or informing. Okay, so become a public speaker, you need to have source of credibility. Source of credibility means that what makes you credible, or what makes you so special that you can talk in front of your audience. Okay, so source of credibility is also an audience perceptions of the effectiveness from the speakers. So for example, I'm talking about public speaking right now with you guys. So what are my sources of credibility? Well, I need to persuade you guys to understand about the public speaking. So the credibility can be determined by the audience. For example, like beauty and credibility is in the eye of the beholder. This is by Rosno and Robinson. For example, I can say that I might be capable or I might be credible to talk about this because I've learned this before during my degree time and during my master. So having this qualification make you credible to talk in front of your audience. Okay, not only by having a cert you can only talk in front of your audience, but you need to also make your audience comfortable with what you're saying and what information that you're trying to convey. Okay, so aspect of credibility, we have first competence. Okay, are you competent enough to talk about it? Okay, trustworthiness, you have to regain your audience trust. Dynamism, the the energy that you're trying to the energy that you're trying to go with your audience. And then the common ground. Common ground means that what are the things that you and your audience have in common. Okay, so this is the aspects of credibility, which is very important. Okay, so I have already explained this, so you can read this on your own. Okay. Okay, next we go for topic selection. So there are so many ways in selecting a topic for a speech, but the most common technique used is first is brainstorming, and then we have personal inventories, involvement in the topic, and knowledge of the topic. So let's look at it one by one. For brainstorming, it means that you have to list out all or as many topics as you can in a very limited time so that you are able to pick and select one of the topic that is appropriate for your audience. Okay, so I really love brainstorming technique because you can like put every single topics in it, and you can select the most appropriately according to your audience. Okay, however, even though this is very good techniques, but you will have a limitation of time in listing out the topics and also preparing for the speech. Okay, second is personal inventory. So personal inventories means that the speaker surveys on readings, and we observe the habits and behaviors to discover topics of a personal interest. Okay, so this will help us to uncover the areas that qualify to speak, because we are doing a personal research on something, on a topic. For example, I love to study about culture, and nowadays the hot issues is the Latte challenge. So accordingly, I'm trying to relate the Latte challenge with the Javanese culture. So by doing some research, I think that I'm capable to talk about it because I already done my research. So, but you have to remember, when you are presenting yourself to the audience, it means that you are putting your opinions with it. So you have to also be very sensitive with the audience, and also you have to be very sensitive with the culture that you have. Okay, and then involvement of the topic. Involvement of the topic is means that the depending on the time that speaker put in an area of speech. Okay, so it also includes the convictions, passions, and authority. Because sometimes, because for example, I want to talk about the importance of sports communication in Malaysia, because I am the lecturer of sport communication. So I want to talk about sport communications and what are the importance of sport communication in Malaysia. How can sport communication influence our athletes? How can sport communication influence the sports organization? Because I am involved in that topic. I'm currently a lecturer doing that current topic. Okay, let's say for another example, one of you guys had become a frisbee player, so you are involved in frisbee game. You already know about the rules and regulations, and you already know about the frisbee environment, and how it might affect it, people around the frisbee environment. So you're talking about it. So this is what meant by involvement in a topic. You are involved in a topic that you want to talk about. Okay, and then we have knowledge about the topic, where we have certain knowledge in a certain area. So knowledge comes from experience and observations, and normally we are using resources from books, magazine, internet. Okay, so knowledge is quite similar with involvement, but knowledge might not be something that you're involved in. For example, I love to sing, I love music, I love culture. So I have done lots of research accordingly about music. So I want to talk about music. So I have the knowledge about music, so I want to talk about it. So this is what it meant by knowledge of the topic. Okay, next we have level of audience analysis. This is very, very, very important, because when you're giving a public speaking, you need to know who is your audience, because the way we approach our audience will be different based on their levels. Okay, so basically there are four types of it. First is captive and voluntary analysis, demographic, audience interest and knowledge, audience attitudes, beliefs, and values. So based on these four, we will know what kind of audience that we are focusing on, and what the audience that we are going to face. So this by doing this analysis, you'll know how to face them. Okay. For level one, captive audience means that the audience has not chosen to hear a speaker or speech. Okay, they did not gather to hear the speaker, neither the speech. So they were macam voluntary, voluntary audience. So they are not there because they want to, but they are forced to. So you have to be very motivated, and you need to capture um, the you have to capture their interest towards you. Okay, so the advantage is that you may talk about any ideas, or you may talk about any single thing that they never knew or heard about it, because they were someone who are not planned to be there, so they need to be there. So you need to motivate them. Okay, um, you need to pull their interest towards you, and then you can talk about anything. Okay. Number two, demographic analysis, which means that you have a collections and interpretations of data about the characteristic of people. You already know about your audience, so you know how old are they, where they come from, so what Why are they there? So from demographic analysis, you will be putting yourself in a very good shape. For example, that you are giving a speech for a primary school student. So by knowing that they are primary school student, you already know the ages, so you will be able to speak or to talk about something that is very related to them. Okay. Number three, level three, audience interest and knowledge about the topic. Quite similar to the level two, when you know that you're giving a speech to a primary school student, you already know their interest in what point, and you already know their level of knowledge about the topic. Are you going to talk about going to university to a primary school student? No, but you can talk about something in order for them to build themselves for the future. So by knowing this, by knowing their interest and knowledge, you will also be able to put a relevant topic to your audience. Okay. And level four, the audience attitudes, beliefs, and values. So this is also quite similar and related to level two and level three, where you know that each and every one of us have our own beliefs and values. So do not defy any attitudes, beliefs, and values. You have to respect other people's attitudes, beliefs, and values. So when you talk about something that might touches on other beliefs and values, you need to respect them and you need to counter it with something with a very good manners. Okay, you cannot defy them. That is the main thing that you need to remember. Okay, three methods of audience analysis is through observation, inferences, and questionnaire. So you have to observe your audience. By observing them, you will know their habits and their attitudes. By observing them, you have um, you have the ideas on what they like and what they did not like. Okay, inferences means that you are having you're putting what we call inferences. You're making perceptions towards what you are seeing, what you are having. Questionnaires means that you're developing a form in asking questions about their interests and about their um, what their beliefs, what are their values, what they like, what they did not like, by having a form. So these three methods is a very useful method that you can use in order to analyze your audience. Okay, how to organize your presentation. This is also very important because um, I I believe that every one of us have a very simple ways in transferring our information in forms of presentation, but some of us we are not we just not structured and we're not organized our presentation well. That is why sometimes we're talking about something that is not related with our main point. So here are the guides on what are things that should be included in your presentation. First, you need to have an introduction. The introduction is not about yourself, it's not about your family, it's about the main point that you're trying to say. Okay? For example, you're talking about a pen. A pen. This is a pen. This is a blue pen. So you're talking about a pen. So do not bother talking about a pen. It's like a pencil. We use it to write, and a pen is something related to colorful pencil. No, you're talking about a pen. So talk about a pen. This is a pen. This is a blue pen. So this pen can be used in order for us to write everything. We can write a letter using it. So you're talking about the main point there. So the body is what is the main thing that you want to talk about the pen. So today you have know about the pen, but there is something that is very important about the pen that you don't know. It is something we call as the soft spot of the pen. Do you know that the pen has a soft spot? So the main body is actually talking about the soft spot about the pen. Okay. The conclusion, even though the pen is something that we use to write in a harsh way, but you have to remember that a pen has a soft spot where, yeah, whatever. So by having the introductions, you know about you have already informed your audience about the things that you want to talk about. And by having the body, you let the audience go into deeper about what are the main things that you want to talk about your introductions. And the conclusion is something you want to conclude your presentation. Lastly is bibliography, where you cited all the information resources that you gain for your presentations. So I have already discussed this. Okay, so I hope that you can read this on your own. So that is for our topic today, public speaking. I hope everybody will understand this, and I hope that everybody will try to talk in front of a mirror as a practice for your public speaking. I wish you all the best, and I hope that today's topic will become very helpful for you, especially in your work and in whatever you're doing. I think that is all. So I hope that I can see you on the next class. Thank you so much, guys, for your participation. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.